right? We couldn't see him, but we could hear him. So we walked up, and probably 5 to 7 minutes of Trump speaking, I'm estimating here, I have no idea, but we noticed a guy crawling, bear crawling up the roof of the building beside us, 50 feet away from us. So we're standing there, we're pointing at the guy crawling up the roof.
And he had a gun, right?
He had a rifle. We could clearly see him with a rifle. Absolutely. We're pointing at him. The police are down there running around on the ground. We're like, hey man, there's a guy on the roof with a rifle. And the police were like, huh, what? Like they didn't know what was going on. We're like, hey, right here on the roof. We can see him from right here. We see him. He's crawling. And next thing you know, I'm thinking to myself, why is Trump still speaking? Why have they not pulled him off the stage? I'm standing there pointing at him for, 2-3 minutes. Secret Service is looking at us from the top of the barn. I'm pointing at that roof, just standing there like this.
Hey, Kharisma here. As you know by now, former President Donald Trump was injured in an assassination attempt during his rally in Butler, Pennsylvania on Saturday evening. One rally attendee was killed and 2 others were seriously injured. The rally marked Trump's last public appearance before his scheduled start of the Republican National Convention in Milwaukee, where the Republican Party is set to formally select him as its presidential nominee. Here is a minute-by-minute visual timeline of the Trump assassination attempt by CNN. And as we go to that, it really outlines and gives you a holistic sort of overview of what took place on Saturday. Okay, so starting with, let's move on down here. Now, through videos and maps and photos, CNN pieced together what occurred from the start of the rally to the chaotic moments when gunshots erupted to ultimately when Trump landed in Newark, New Jersey early Sunday morning. So here we have Trump's rally takes place, as you know, in Butler, Pennsylvania, roughly 30 miles north of Pittsburgh. So here is the site where the rally took place as we move on down. The Butler Farm Showgrounds on 625 Evans City Road, about 5 miles from downtown Butler, is home to the Butler Farm Show, an annual agriculture fair. So as you can see here, here's an overview of the Butler Farm Showground. At 6:05:12 p.m., Trump starts addressing his supporters and speaks for roughly 6 minutes before the scene erupts into chaos. So here he is. I'll play that video for you.
Hello, Butler, and hello to Pennsylvania. I'm thrilled to be back in this beautiful Commonwealth with thousands of proud, hardworking American patriots, and that's what you are, and we got to bring our country back to health.
There you go. So that's him starting his rally. Trump is in the middle of speaking when someone in the crowd is heard saying, "He's got a gun." As the video captures someone in the crowd repeating, "On the roof, he's got a gun." 3 shots rang out. A pause and 5 more shots in rapid succession are heard. "Stay under here," an attendee says in the video. So here's the video where the person is there.
And look what happened to our country. Probably 20 million people. And you know, that's a little bit of God. He's got a gun!
Wow.
Stay under here.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. At 6:11:33 p.m., Trump pauses mid-sentence as shots ring out. So here's Trump speaking.
No, that's a little bit old, that chart. That chart's a couple of months old. And if you want to really see something that's said, take a look at what happened.
Ooh. Wow, did you see he was looking towards the chart, and this is what led him to turn his head right at the second when the shots rang out. If he had not turned his head, he would have been shot in his head. Wow, what a miracle that was. Moving on, 6/11/34. Trump touches the right side of his face because now he's realizing that something is going on. He's been hit. He doesn't know what's going on. It looks like, well, obviously he wasn't expecting that, but so now it's kind of shocking, and he's realizing that something is definitely going on here. At 6:11:35 p.m., Trump takes cover as the U.S. Secret Service agents rushes to the podium to surround him. Get down, get down, get down, one says. While the gunman is positioned outside the rally venue, the distance between him and where Trump is speaking is only approximately 400 to 500 feet. So here is a diagram, or sort of an aerial view of where, here's the location of the gunman right here. And here is where Trump was on stage. So you see that it's approximately 400 to 500 feet, which is roughly 120 to 150 meters, I believe. And Secret Service snipers are over here on these rooftops here. Moving on. It says, okay, so I just read that. The conclusion aligns with CNN's analysis that the suspected gunman was situated on a rooftop 393 to 492 feet, which is 120 to 150 meters from the podium where shots rang out. Trump remains underground. Trump remains low to the ground, surrounded by agents who can be heard on the rally microphone discussing which vehicle will be used to move the former president away from the scene. Seconds later, multiple agents say, "Shooters down." Law enforcement in tactical gear and rifles are now on stage. A woman's screams are heard following the shots, so following the sound of another shot. Let's check that out. So here you have the Secret Service running on to move him.
Move to the spare. Hold. When you're ready. On you. Ready. Move. Up. Move. Go. Up. Hawkeye's here. Hawkeye's here. Move to the spare. Spare, get ready. Spare, get ready. We ready? Are we good? Shooters down. Are we good to move?
Shooters down. That's what they said.
We're clear. Let's move. We're clear.
We are clear to go. So here's what happens here. The female agent at 6:11:41 p.m. says, "What are we doing? What are we doing? Where are we going?" Man instinctively yelling. 6:11:50 gunshot. Then you hear the woman screams. The male agents number two go around to the spare, go around to the spare, referring to the spare limousine that's there. Male agent 3 appears to say something like, "Move to the spare, hold. When you're ready, on you." 6:12, male agent 2 says ready. And male agent 2 continues, says up, move, and so on and so on. Now, you remember hearing it says Hawkeye's here. So Hawkeye is the code name for the counter assault team, as you saw them come up on stage with the rifles. Female agent says Hawkeye's here, moving to the spare. And as we move through, you see that they say, "Let's move," and they moved him to the spare. Now, meanwhile, the suspected shooter fired from the building rooftop where he was killed by Secret Service personnel, the agency said. So here, this is an actual sighting of the shooter before he took the first started shooting.
Lá em cima, né? Aqui, ó. You can see the guy
He's
there.
right. Actually, no. This is after he's been shot.
I think they hit him.
Yeah.
The guy he looks dead.
So this was when he was. They had taken him out. 6:12, 25 seconds. The agents prepare to move Trump off stage, but he tells them to wait. With blood dripping from his ear over a portion of his face, Trump lifts his fists in the air, prompting a loud cheer from the crowd, and mouths the word "fight" 3 times while pumping his fist. Now here's the video of that.
I got you, sir. I got you, sir. Let me get my shoes. Hold on, your head is bloody. So we gotta move to the class. Move to the class. Let me get my shoes. Okay, my shoes out. Watch out.
He's pumping because he wants people to know that he's okay. Even though people are saying, the word, when he says fight, it means to instigate violence. No, that's not what he's saying. He's trying to reassure. I read somewhere that says that if this was his last words, or if in the event that this was his last opportunity to say something to the people, he wanted to encourage them. He wanted to let them know that he was okay, and that to continue to stay in the race and fight for democracy. All right, so then we move on here. We see this picture where, the shots are fired out. People are sort of beginning to notice that something is going on. Now here's the another view from when he was actually hit, and him bending down. It looks like he's actually praying, and blood running down his face. And this is when he gives that pump fist, telling people to continue to fight. Now, as you heard, I'm not going to read the transcripts here, where he tells, "Let me get my shoes," because as he went down to the ground and the agents covered him, his shoes came off, and he wanted to put his shoes back on. All right, so now Trump's spokesperson says the former president is fine and being evacuated at a medical facility in a statement released approximately 40 minutes after the shooting. So, statement from the Trump campaign. It says, President Trump thanks law enforcement and first responders for the quick action during this horrendous act. He is fine and is being checked out at a local medical facility. More details will follow. Stephen Chung, Trump's spokesperson. So around 8:42 p.m., roughly 2.5 hours after he was taken off the rally stage, Trump saying that in the truth statement, "I knew immediately that something was wrong in that I heard a whizzing sound, shots, and immediately felt the bullet ripping through my skin." And he goes on to say, this is him actually saying, "I want to thank the United States Secret Service and all of law enforcement for their rapid response on the shooting that just took place in Butler, Pennsylvania. Most importantly, I want to extend my condolences to the family of the person at the rally who was killed, and also to the family of another person, it actually turned out to be 2 people now, that were badly injured. It is incredible that such an act can take place in our country. Nothing is known at this time about the shooter, who is now dead. I was shot with a bullet that pierced the upper part of my right ear. I knew immediately that something was wrong in that I heard a whizzing sound, shots, and immediately felt the bullet ripping through the skin. Much bleeding took place, so I realized then what was happening. God bless America." Moving on, 8:35, Trump's motorcade departs Butler Memorial Hospital, where he was medically evaluated after the shooting. So let's play that. Wow. is quite the motorcade. Okay. Moving on. Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro says late Saturday night that Trump had left the Butler, Pennsylvania area following the rally shooting. In the early mornings of Sunday morning, Trump flies back to New York, New Jersey. Now, Trump campaign deputy communications director Margot Martin posts a video of Trump disembarking from a plane in New York, writing on X, "Strong and resilient, he will never stop fighting for America." So this is Trump debark after everything's happened. So he's coming down, leaving the plane. Okay. And that there we have it for the CNN roundup on timeline of what took place on Saturday evening with the assassination attempt on former President Donald Trump. Now, moving on a little bit, I'm sure you've received or given some information about the person who actually, the 20-year-old man who tried to assassinate former President Donald Trump, first came to law enforcement's attention on Saturday's rally when spectators noticed him acting strangely outside a campaign event. The tip sparked a frantic search, but officers were unable to find him before he managed to get on a roof where he opened fire. Now, as you know, we be aware now, his name is Thomas Matthew Crooks of Bethel Park, Pennsylvania. And he is the one that has carried out this shocking attack. The FBI say that they're investigating it as a potential act of domestic terrorism, but the absence of a clear ideology motive by the man shot dead by the Secret Service led conspiracy theories to flourish. And there's a lot of conspiracy theories going around. I must say that so much has gone wrong. Like there's so much failure within this whole protecting a former president has gone awry, from lack of competency. There's rumors saying that they were told to stand down. DEI hires slow to react and seem scared. I'm going to talk about that in another video. And it seems that Secret Service didn't send their best team. And there also seemed to be a lack of training. And there seemed to be component of all of these. And also a lot of questions into how did this man, how was he allowed, or how did he get on this rooftop? Like the security is supposed to be tight and covering where a president or former president would be speaking in a particular area. And it seems that there were some gaps, whether they were left open intentionally or as a big gaffe. I don't know. But to me, I'm thinking that this was intentional. So I'm going to be sharing a little bit more about that, where the experts have to say about the epic failure on the part of the Secret Service and the police and everyone involved in protecting the former President Trump. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. What do you think happened? How do you think it was handled? Do you agree that there was a kerfuffle in the whole plan and the whole protecting the president? I want to hear from you, and I'll see you in the next one.